Okay, this chapter is about setting key poses for our second attack. And we are going to basically piggyback off of the first attack, the ending of the first attack, which was a settle. And this was the pose. And according to the pose that we picked out for this previously, was that our next pose would be right here. Now that's a big jump. That's 22 frames. All right, so if we look at this here, 22 frames. Oh, maybe, I'm sorry, maybe it's only 12 frames here. Yeah, okay, 12 frames. That's much better than 22. When we take this and we'll key everything here, we're basically going to go from here to there, right? Now that's kind of a big rotation in the spine. We'll see how it handles it. Oh. Yeah, let's see here. And the reason why this is the good pose to pick for anticipation is the last frame where the foot is touching the ground. So we want to see that push off that's happening there. Right? And it's a great anticipation pose as well. So So this, again, I always go straight to my hips and my feet. Hips make a pretty big change. Sorry, this foot makes a pretty big change. Basically rotates around like that. Get this footing like that. And the upper body is where we need to focus. Now, sometimes I'll take all my spine controls here and I'll just zero them out. Kind of makes me feel like, kind of resets them for me and gets me back potentially on model if I'm kind of going too far off on them. Right? Rotating this off here. And that head needs to rotate across this way. I may need an in-between pose here, like something like this might be worth looking into. But let's try to pose this out here. This head is really leading the action here, isn't it? It's like really looking over that way. And this arm, can't see what it's doing here, but it's just doing the same thing as the head, which is kind of generally leading the action as well. Oh, that arm's folding in. That could be like a visual issue with the rig. So we're basically going to go from here. My next pose being probably another anticipation pose. Yeah, this one right here where I'm kind of in midair. Or actually, no, I'm not in midair. I'm sorry. I am landing. So I'm going to go from this one to 9 frames later. This, and I think once I end up doing real timing on this, I'll probably hang this a lot more, like hang, and then come down on it like this. But for now, kind of having a rotation like this. What if I really rotate it like that? I might be ready to just push this over here like this. Because like I want some kind of like jump that's happening here. And if I'm not getting that enough from here, it's gonna feel weak, right? Because I've already covered quite a bit of distance here. And I want this to feel like the same. Something like that. rotate it up like this. I could rotate this. And the spine, even though it's kind of leaned down here like this, I wouldn't mind seeing some kind of like lean back on it. This is where I'm taking some liberties on the pose. Yeah, let's get this arm out of the way. It's looking kind of funky. That visual on the arm is very strange. Yeah, we definitely need an in-between pose where we're really just up high on this, but that'll come later. Same kind of thing. I want this to lag a lot more. Almost like breaking it in a way. This. Really coming down on it. And eventually what I might do is kind of like stretch a little bit, but not right now. And then my next pose being the hit frame. Bang. Seven frames later. Get that foot down. Actually, this one could be more like this. And my spine bends down. I'm really going to push this like that. Come slicing down on it. Bang, comes down like that. Extend this shoulder out. Bang. And then the next pose being another settle, like that. "12 frames, I believe. More like here. Key that. This is actually the last settle of our second pose. So we're moving on to our third attack after this pose, but before we do that, I really do want to adjust these middle parts here. Like that's fine for first pass, but I want to flesh those out a little bit more. It's really your call on like when you get separation like that or too much space between the keys. So it's like it's just harder to read if the action is not clear. I want to know that it's going to work. That's why I want to potentially add. We'll take a look at it. Let me just do this pose first. Make sure it's feeling nice and balanced through the whole thing too, right? That's super important. And again, it's I'm getting super low here, but that might be too low. Why don't I just drop them down a bit, but then rotate them up? It's a bit high. And then this. Curled in like that. Right. So at this stage, we have basically two poses that, ooh, it's chugging. Let me turn off my image plane here. All right. If I just make it stepped keys, that might be easier to see, right? So the first attack feels like quite fleshed out, but the second attack is missing some big chunks in there, I feel like. And although it's like, it's, you know, I can kind of see what's happening. It's like, I'm going from here to here, and it's just not connecting the whole way for me. And that's okay, because it's like, I can go in here and pick some, like from 40 to 52. That's just a really big jump for me. Right? So like maybe like somewhere around here, like this looks like a good kind of like a nice in-between pose, and this doesn't, obviously, right? So take everything, key it. I'm just gonna build a pose here so I can kind of like maybe this foot is a little higher, so it kind of looks like it's and this is a little lower. His head. There. The reason why I'm building this key pose so I don't go straight from here to here is like, I think I need this one, you know, I think I need something in here to connect it. And I keep saying connect it, but it's like, why am I connecting these two poses? Because it's not usually, a lot of times it's not just you that's looking at it. You have all the luxury of knowing what it's going to do because you've gathered reference. But if you're kind of doing this at home, you know, once you get to a stage where you feel good about it, start showing it to people, right? Show it to people and get their feels on it, right? And if something's not reading to them, you know, no amount of like explanation will kind of get that across, because not everyone's going to have you there explaining why it is the way it is, right? It just needs to read, and that's really all that matters. So if it's not, like in this case, to me, I was like not reading, even though I knew what was going on, like I could definitely read it. It was not fully, I didn't think it was going to fully read to like somebody who's seeing it for the first time, those transition poses, right? So I want to see those transition poses. And sometimes you just need to like turn these, what these were going to be, these were going to be breakdowns, turn those into key poses, because this was going to be a breakdown, but now it's like I can at least imagine it as a key pose. I think I'm going to add one more pose here. Since we added this breakdown here, I'm going to go to this one, because this is kind of like, you know, the ball bounce, which is, you know, we always add a key at the very top of the ball bounce, and I think this is the same kind of thing. It's like where if I can add some hang time up here, I may even do both, to be honest. Like I may even add two of them, but for now, I think doing one up here would be good practice for me. So I'm going to key all this. And something that's striking me as I look at this, and I've mentioned it already, is like doing this one. This one doesn't seem to cover a whole lot of ground. And I think that's kind of my purpose of making this one too, is like, how high can I get it before it looks too high, and I need to adjust the distance that I'm covering. Right. I like that it's kind of giving me this horizontal feel, but maybe I need to put more bend in this spot, more bend in this upper control here, something like that. It kind of feels like I'm kind of going horizontal a little bit. Yeah, let's see here. And then when I'm here, this arm is still kind of lagging behind, which is cool because I kind of get that drag on the arm. much can I drag it? Something like this, and don't forget about this other arm. That visual twisting is really annoying, but we'll get that fixed. Something like this. So now I've added this breakdown here and this breakdown here. I've kind of turned them into key poses. So if I step it and I hide my curves, that hopefully feels better. Yeah. Okay. Next chapter, we are going to go into the third and final attack move, and this one's going to be a little bit more acrobatic. So we'll go over the key poses on that one.